Hey guys, this is Mauisnake here bringing you another pro player analysis, and today I'm going to be going over Di Freeman, the 19-year-old Hong Kong player for Vici Gaming. In the past 12 months, he was the second highest rated player for Vici Gaming. Kaze, the only player that was ahead of him, but they were pretty much neck and neck, and I would say Kaze is the star opper for Vici, whereas Freeman is probably their star rifler. So, let's get into it. The game that I'm going to be going over for us today is between Vici Gaming and North. This game was for the final spot in the major. So this is pretty much the most important BO3 of almost anyone on either of these teams' lives. Pretty much the highest stakes you could ask for, and it's going to start with Freeman playing B on CT side of Dust 2. So, nice lurk smoke comes up from Valde. Freeman reads this pretty well. He knows that Valde is likely going to be going for a play through the smoke. Valde does, in fact, go through that, but he does quite a bit of damage just spamming the smoke there. Almost gets him down, but can't actually finish out the kill, and North are going to be able to take the first round there. But Freeman is, in fact, a B player. He's just really locking this one down with his rifle on most rounds. Second round, though, he's going to be opting for the Deagle. Not really going to be sodding anything. Sometimes he plays the B rotator. Him and King frequently are playing it together. But this round he rotates off pretty early. And he's just thinking about where he wants to help right now. He has a flashbang, so he could help out his teammates by throwing that towards A. But instead just kind of moves into position. North, they're really taking their time with this round, and it's pretty hard for Vici to tell where it is that they want to move their players here. So Freeman has a just kind of tough time getting into this one. He's just kind of stuck between a few different positions. Does hear a player towards mid, though, and is able to nail the shot on Caribbean. Caribbean had a hard time seeing Freeman there, which was a little interesting, but Freeman, usually the player that stands inside the smoke, can see the player outside of it a little bit earlier. Also on Spectate, we're probably seeing it just a little bit before they do, but eventually gets taken down. So, third round, just going to be a USP. I'm going to go through this one pretty quickly. He's just going to be playing back at B. They run in on him. He really likes the spot. It's a great spot with no body armor, but he's eventually taken out. So, that's the round. So, still only has a single kill, but he ends this game with a 1.5 rating. Might have even been like a 1.51 or 1.53, but he had a really stellar performance on this one. A bit of a slow start for Vici here, as is to be expected in a very high-pressure situation. North, the more experienced team for sure of these two squads, and now Freeman's going to be playing his standard B rotator position. Notice he opts for the AUG. A few of his teammates do like the M4, it seems, but Freeman does seem to like this weapon. And it's a pretty good one for Dust 2, I would say. So, plays around car, is able to get, say, 2.5 kills there. Good job from him. Just playing a pretty close crossfire with him and his teammate as they lock down that B-bomb site. Get all but one, and it's enough to get Vici their first round into this game. Smoke across mid comes out. Freeman tries to cross, but is legged by Cadian, who just shoots the smoke randomly, and so decides to play this spot right here. It's a really good angle if you're low HP or if you have no body armor. It's pretty much the first headshot angle that you can use on the B bomb site, and he continues to stay fairly passive. I'm a little unsure of why he decides to play the single box here. This shows quite a bit of your body, as opposed to playing in the back. In fact, I think the back would have been a little bit better, but I think he wants to stay alive just as long as he can, but he gets taken out off the back of that nice leg shot from Cadian earlier in the round. So they do give up the B bomb site there, and really Freeman could have probably played back of sight a little bit better there. It would have been stronger likely than that kind of single box on the bomb site, but instead just kind of moves to that. So this time he doesn't get tagged crossing, and is able to finally play B normally, I'd say. And Vici, they're going for a kind of a 4-1 setup here, so it's up to Freeman to really hold down this position. This is kind of why he's rotating through his utility rather quickly. He's throwing a flush smoke for the B apartment, or B tunnels, and he's going to just be playing this, again, spot that he likes so much. I'm not sure, really, this round, if I feel like that would have been the best of spots. But he really does like that spot, and that's sometimes all it takes for a player to have a good round on a bomb site, just for them to play a spot that they're comfortable with. Now he's going to be jiggling the tunnels from on top of the single box. This is a really good spot as well. It's a nice off angle so that anyone peeking in from the tunnels might get timing by it. I think Freeman's timing is a little too quick here. Usually you see people that play this spot do it more so kind of pause for a second, then peek out again, pause for a second, peek out again. If you do this, it's very likely that any terrorists that are walking in would just spot you as they walk in. It wouldn't be like you're timing them or anything, but doing a timing peek, like I see Magic Boy sometimes do, it seems to be a little bit more efficient. Magic Boy kind of changes it up. Sometimes he peeks like this, but I watched a whole demo of him on Dust 2 playing B not too long ago, and he was a little more patient in his back and forth timing. I think Freeman may have even watched a Magic Boy demo, which is why he kind of plays like that, but I think he might have missed the one little fact about the timing. So now him and Shoking kind of make a rotation towards mid. Looks like the play was going towards A. I think the call-outs were for that. And now a bad Molotov by AZ pretty much puts an end to the round. AZ really just Molotoved himself and his teammate off. And now Freeman has a pretty easy 2K to close things out there. So smoke across once again, and now Freeman's going to be the solo B player. This time, though, looks like North actually want to head towards B early on into this round. And again, he's going to cycle through his utility early to try to stop this push. So smoke is out after the Molotov, and now he's playing around the single box. Kind of a close call, I'd say, with the smoke, as there is a gap on the side of it, something you need to be aware of when throwing any smokes onto a Molotov. But now just is playing in what used to be the Humvee area of Dust 2, but again, this is a really good spot, as usually it can allow you to get a 2K. Usually the first guy strafes out, doesn't clear this, and you can strafe out, kill the second guy, maybe kill the first guy who's out of position at that point. So he's just going to play this one for a while, slows things down, doesn't really have to do anything all too much. Play begins to develop. North are going for kind of a mid-control play, along with a little bit of B presence. And Valde just throws a single flash out. This really isn't going to catch Freeman off, though, as no one's really pushing with it. Kind of weird utility usage by North, and Freeman doesn't really have to do anything. But now we can see that he's played a variety of positions at the B bomb site. He's played on top of the single box, kind of crouched behind the Xbox in the bomb site, and he likes playing kind of beneath window in that headshot angle. So 3 spots so far for Freeman, and just good variety. It's always good to play a variety of spots on your bomb site. Getting a little too stagnant makes it just way too easy for anyone that may be counter-stratting you in the future. So he's going to hold for a boost above the smoke. And now he just kind of plays holding flush with the smoke against the wall. And now he's going to go back to this spot. He wasn't spotted in a previous round, so just decides to play in that little closet once again. North, though, having trouble on this half thus far, and have to take a pause. So again, not too much help for him at B. So again, just starts with quick utility. At this point, it should have conditioned North that he does throw this Molotov pretty much every time. But finally he throws the smoke, tries to move to the closet. It seems like instead of really just holding the smoke, he could just stay in his normal closet position, because what happens is this pop flash comes out from North. They've read his position, and AZ just gets an easy entry onto him as they all clear and scale the bomb site together. And that's going to somehow be a Vici victory nonetheless. They have a good B retake there. But Freeman, he wants to play flush with his smoke, and that's not necessarily a bad idea, but a team like North, unlikely that they're going to just run through the smoke. So I'd say at a lower level, that's not really the worst of plays. Usually you can turn from the flash, but North, they had a perfectly just lined up flashbang in order to get them out. So Freeman oddly playing not towards B this time. We can see that Shoking is going to be here. But he does back off of mid. Kind of a good timing around like the 120 mark. Usually you want to fall off that middle position, given that around then, at the beginning you can kind of watch if anyone peeks from this area, but after a while they can get close. They could do a pop flash play through the doors, and then you're in a pretty bad spot. So, but Freeman really just on the rotation here, runs through a smoke. All the action's happening towards A, so he knows he can just get in on it, gets a kill. So Vici Gaming, I might do a a short pick'ems video for you guys, but I don't want to make it long or too detailed. I've noticed a few teams have put Vici as their 0-3 team. I think Vici shows a lot more promise than a couple of the other teams that made it through other minors. They barely made it, but beating a team like North in a BO3 is not really... That's not something to be taken for granted. North is a pretty solid team with a lot of experienced players, and Freeman gets caught up there. Kind of a weird lurk smoke coming out from Valde, and it really does just enough in order to line up that headshot. And I think he might have even got an AK collateral there, as he was able to get both kills on the entry there. But Freeman just trying to play around the smokes, and it seems to be getting him into... it seems to be getting him into a little bit of trouble here. He wants to play flush against the smokes, but North, they're not really the kind of team that are gonna just run out of a dry flat smoke. The lurk smoke was probably the only reason Valde went for that, and I think Valde probably thought the smoke lined up in a different area, but it still worked out for him at the end. Freeman not playing as well as he could have around it, so... He's just going to be holding the cross. Good gun to hold it with. The AUG throws a little bit of spam through the wall, or through the smoke. Gets Gate actually down to 38 HP, so that's a pretty good spam. But at this point, Vici, they know they have to save. So, yeah, as I was saying earlier, I don't really think Vici is something that... it's really not a team that people... Like, they can take a map off of a few teams. Especially when they go 0-1, 0-2. I think they'll surprise a couple people with their Inferno and Dust 2, which are... pretty common maps in the pool for a lot of teams. I'd say Dust 2, a little more niche for teams, but Inferno is a map that I think a lot of these are going to go to, and they definitely have enough skill and firepower and tactics to make it work. So decides to play on top of his single box position. Usually you'd like to be jiggling this, but because there's a smoke there, he's just going to be holding it, and on top of that he has an AUG, so all the more reason to just be holding angles. AUG is... has made just holding angles on CT side a lot more effective. On CT side, I think a very common kind of problem that a lot of riflers had is that they couldn't really hold angles very well. The AUG, it just enables you to do that in such a cleaner way. So smoke comes out, plays coming out towards mid. North, they had a little bit of mid control earlier in the round, and Freeman has some nice counter flashes to enable himself to peek here, and kind of blinds himself though, but he's still able to manage to get a couple kills in this spot. Actually gets 3 in fact, so really good hold from him. Those flashes that he rained over were really nice. You can see that already in this game. He actually only has one enemy's flash, but because he just makes them turn away from his flashes, that's just pretty effective stuff and pretty good utility damage actually across the board for or ADR across the board for most of the players on the Vici side. Advent is usually the most selfless player I've seen for this team. So he's actually not having the best game, but usually probably at the expense of the fact that he's setting up his teammates a lot of the time. So Vici go on to have a really solid half, though. They actually win out here, and Freeman again starts with that early Molotov. At this point, though, I think Freeman could chill on throwing the smoke grenade early. Usually once you condition an opposing team to the fact that you're Molotoving the B tunnels every single time, you don't really need to just keep throwing it over and over and over again. It's kind of like at this point, Valde gets it. There's going to be a Molotov there. There's going to be a smoke there like 10 seconds later. It's pretty standard at this point, and now Valde throwing out a lurk smoke once again. That's more of the lurk smoke that I think he was trying to throw that time that he got the double entry. But you can see that it actually messed up. Freeman has an angle on this smoke that would enable him to probably kill anyone pushing forward. But he's not actually going to get challenged here, and he's going to be sitting behind the smoke here for quite a while. So North, final 2 members do end up coming towards B, and Freeman playing another one of his favorite spots right here. And he gets taken down. AZ hits a really nice shot, but it's a nice just double peek from Shoking and Freeman. So far, not the most stellar first half, I'd say. There's really... there's been a few times where Freeman, I'd say, kind of messed up on his positioning for his hold, but for the most part, has done his job decently. He's letting them into B maybe 1 or maybe 2 times more than he should have, but he did a really good holding the B split, where they came from mid and B tunnels at the same time. So early action though towards long A, down to a 2v2. Now Freeman is just going to be holding the back line, going to be pinching north here, making sure that they can't come back. The challenge came out, and Shoking though is just going to be on the bomb site, and a good support flash from Freeman to allow Shoking to go for a peek there. Another flash as well, and I think he even just picked up another flash, so he could even throw this one out as well in hopes to try to take down AZ. Now that he knows exactly where AZ is, though, he's just going to keep his gun out, and with a nice 2-tap is able to secure the first half for his team. So, things we can talk about for Freeman, just kind of a standard rifler. Feels like Vici have maybe watched Astralis demos or something, or at least Freeman has watched Magisk demos. Although a lot of the plays he makes at B are pretty standard. The top of the single box is a very popular spot. I think he likes that kind of cubby to the left a little bit more than a lot of people do. And he doesn't really play the back of the bomb site, which is a little curious, actually, as it's a pretty strong spot, and support flashes can really help you when you play backside. Although it is a vulnerable spot to kind of an op peek, which Cadian is known to do, as he can be a quite aggressive opper even as an IGL for North. A lot of counter flashes, though, going to come out. Pretty standard play across Catwalk for the players from Vici. And they are unable to win the pistol round. They have a little bit of trouble with pistol rounds in this game. But now Freeman's going to be going for a hero AK round. Advent drops the AK. As I was talking about earlier, he's the kind of player that likes to set up his teammates a lot. And it's a really pretty AK, blue gem. Case hardened. This AK's got to be worth quite a bit of money. It's also got some pretty nice stickers on it, but they're just going to scale out. Freeman's kind of in the back here, so he's kind of baiting a little bit with the AK, but they really just trust his firepower, and doesn't quite pay off, though, as he's unable to find the kill on Acadian right away. Eventually takes down Caribbean, but the number advantage is already very heavy for North here, and Freeman would have to really get a lot done. Gets a second, almost gets the third, but isn't able to find that kill. So that hero AK buy, it keeps the economy honest for North, but it doesn't actually accomplish all too much in terms of winning the round. Does kind of, in a way, put Cadian onto an MP9 this round, but now Freeman, he's going to be playing his default position. Vici, they run a lot of defaults on their T side of Dust 2, and it pays off as Freeman gets a kill on Acadian early in the round. Kaze falls in return, though, and now Freeman has to pick up the bomb. So, most of the time, Freeman likes to make his way up Catwalk. He's kind of the player, he's one of the players to fight towards the middle of the map here. A lot of the players I've covered previously in my pro player analysis videos, a lot of star players, tend to be the players that are kind of on the extremities. They have the option a lot of the time to just make a play if they feel like it. Breeze did it in the video. K Serato does it as well at times. Sergey as well kind of fights on the extremities from time to time. Freeman is kind of a player that involves himself in the bulk of the hit. So what you see from Freeman is how to play with your teammates a little bit more, and how to just kind of be a star but supporting gunning player, where he's just kind of flying out with his team, not really going for a pinch or any kind of lurk play. He's just straight up going in with the teammates and throwing the support utility to try to get them out. So he's going to be in a lot of kind of like crisscross plays. And Planet for Cat makes a pretty daring peek there as he gets the kill towards Gate, but it's a very important kill as it allows Vici to end up win that round, as Valve just took a little bit too long at long A. But Freeman taking a very risky peek. That's not a peek you're going to see a lot of players go for, and it really kind of works out because the other player from North went through CT spawn already, so the player that Freeman killed just didn't expect Freeman to be there. I don't think Freeman even knew that happened, though. But once again, Freeman going to be trying to make his way up Catwalk, just making a mid-presence. So what Vici are doing is that they're putting Freeman in his normal position, and in doing so, it's still going to bait the possibility that there is some mid-presence coming from Vici, but it seems like Vici, they went just a little bit early here. They couldn't really pull any rotations away from B, and now Freeman just kind of has to run in and gun, and it doesn't really work out for them. Kind of a weird timing for Vici, I'd say. I feel like that could have worked out if they let Freeman work for maybe 5 to 10 seconds longer, but perhaps a player got spotted out and they decided to just push with that one. And this is kind of a weird round. Vici actually kind of catch North off guard there. I think North might have thought that it was a gun round, as 3 other players didn't have head armor, but Vici weren't able to capitalize regardless of the fact. So Freeman once again working towards middle on Dust 2. 10-10 scoreline. And this round kind of resembles, to me, kind of like a pretty standard deco for most teams, where they just kind of buy deagles and just spread out. This round, Vici, they have a few nades, but it doesn't seem like they really have a strong plan to get map control with them just yet. They went up Cat pretty dry here. Freeman just pushes up, spots out Cadian there, which makes Cadian fall. And really, they're taking a lot of map control by just kind of jiggling angles, letting Freeman work up. And it looks pretty good thus far. Honestly, they've gotten pretty much all of Cat control for free. And now they still have their utility in this round to make a play work out. So Freeman sounds like he's listening to whatever the strat is. And they come out towards mid. Gade gets 2. Now the smoke from mid to B comes out. Now Freeman decides to just go in with Kaze, who finds a great 1-deeg, and now it's a 3v3. So things are going to heat up here as the bomb is planted, and now Freeman has to decide what position he wants to hold B from. So he's going to actually play towards tunnels. Spots out Cadian. Knows he needs to take a fight towards somewhere, though. If he lets himself get pinched here, this is not going to be good for him. So he takes the fight towards Cadian, but he peeks right into a double peek as Valde and Caribbean are both on the bomb site in a straight line. One thing I can say about Freeman thus far is that I wouldn't actually consider his movement to be very strong. I think that sometimes when he goes for peaks, they're a little wide, and it almost seems like 50% of the time, maybe 70% of the time, he'll hit a pretty good jiggle and find out the position of an opponent for free. But a lot of the time, he kind of just wide swings, and I don't really like the way he wide swings. It seems like it gets him in trouble a bit too much at times. So just commenting on some of the mechanics of him. His aim is pretty solid, and a flub smoke from Advent leads Vici to just go straight for a full B hit here. So now they're just grouping up towards B. As we can see, Freeman is going to be in the back here. He's going to be throwing supporting flashes. Throwing these flashes kind of on the left side there are really nice, as they shouldn't be blinding your teammates all too much. But there's so many support flashes coming from North that it makes it pretty difficult for them to scale in. And AZ takes out Freeman, and Freeman's final teammate falls. But Vici going to go for another deco here. And this is where we're really going to see things shift and see them just kind of while out a little bit in situations in such a way that helps them secure this game. By the way, spoiler alert, Vici do beat North. I don't know where you might have been if you haven't seen that by now, as Vici are headed to the major. So they do win this BO3 and do it in a 2-0 fashion, although Game 2 gets really crazy and hectic. This game was a slightly more clean win. Freeman probably would have hit the shot onto AZ if it weren't for Advent, but Freeman getting up on the bomb site with Kaze is able to get the bomb down. But now it's a 2v2 situation between Katie and Valde versus Freeman and Amen. And now Freeman, he's just going to be taking the fight, hits a really choice headshot onto Valde there right through the box. If he would have peeked out, I think Valde might have got him, but Freeman was able to line that wallbang up perfectly. And yeah, sometimes his movement, it looks a little clumsy or awkward or clunky, honestly, but his shots can be pretty on point. He has a really good game in this BO3, in fact, and with that round, they're able to really hurt North's economy and get themselves a victory when they really had very little business getting one. So again, Freeman is going to be defaulting towards middle. Just going to be waiting for a play between himself and his lower B players. He's going to get a flash out. Usually he would be flashing, I think, for Zoking to peek towards mid, But really, North haven't gone for much cat aggression. I think Vici have read this pretty well, in fact, and they get up cat for free. They don't even use a Xbox smoke. And against some teams, this play would just fall right flat on its face, as if there were any opper towards cat or middle, they probably would just be getting eliminated right now, but somehow they read it in such a way that they don't overuse utility towards mid and are able to hold it for any play that they want to make towards A. Now Freeman, he kind of throws a little bit of a fake with his utility there. It actually pulls a single rotation from Carby, who's playing kind of towards CT. The nades come out, and Freeman begins to scale in with his teammates. Just Gade on the bomb site here. The Vici players are actually getting pinched right now. So Freeman decides to make his way back towards Cat. Kind of awkward. I think he was having a little bit of trouble deciding on what position he wanted to help his team with, but he just doubles up with Kaze, and they're able to get a single kill there. And it puts the rest of his teammates in a pretty good position. They know where the last two CTs are. They're just holding for them to push out, and it just works out perfectly. They're able to get the 12th round, tie things up. And now North, they went for some aggressive mid smokes here, which should keep Freeman on guard here, as I don't know what he is really thinking about this smoke grenade. He's trying to play around it, but a flash over from long A alerts Freeman that it is in fact going to be a long push coming out from North, and he's able to just mow them down there. So gets a really clean 3K, and makes pretty quick work of those players peeking. I mean, I don't want to take for granted the fact that those were really fast kills. I think 2 of them were headshots, 1 of them was a body shot because the other guy was tagged, and like, just being able to kill those guys as quickly as he did, if he doesn't kill them as fast as he doesn't hit the shots as swiftly, he could have fallen. His T-spawn player could have fallen as well, and perhaps they give an op to North, which would enable them to have an op in this round. I mean, those eco kills might just feel like, you know, eco kills, which they are, but if he doesn't get them as quickly as he does, it can be a completely different game. North could have potentially even come back into this game. Notice on the North side, they have 4 AUGs, 1 M4, no ops at all. And who knows what Cadian could have done with that if he brought the op into this round. So Vici, again, reading this very well, only used a single smoke grenade to get up towards Catwalk. And I'm not even sure if this smoke grenade was towards Xbox. Amin used it, I think, towards B earlier in the round. So now they have full utility for a hit here, and pretty much full utility for a post plant. That might even be more important. Freeman, though, finds the trade onto Carby, and now they have good nades to allow them to get the bomb down, have a smoke for the bomb site. They still have 3 smokes, and they have 4 players alive in a 4v2. Like, these nades can go so far, and it just basically ensures the fact that they are, in fact, going to win this round. So North really having a lot of difficulty here, and they're beginning to go for the 4 spies. 2 FAMASs, a CZ, and 2 AUGs. Freeman just having a really solid game. Nothing, I'd say nothing too crazy yet. If you guys are looking for someone that plays crazily, stay tuned for the next pro player analysis video. Just a little bit of a teaser right here. I've been doing these long form ones, but I think I'm going to be editing this one down, condensing it to a few more highlights across several different maps with this player. So that'll be coming to you guys shortly. So Freeman going to be making his way up Catwalk. Oddly reads the situation really well, decides to use his Molotov at the corner there. I think that's the first time he's done that, but he really wants to just ensure that he has cat control. Because the play actually isn't going to be towards A, he knows that he can use his utility the way he does right there, just to take control of this position. Now North are left in the dark, and the rest of Vici can go for a much heavier play towards that B bomb site. So he's going to be faking a play towards A, in fact throwing kind of a drop smoke. 1 of 2 is usually what's needed, and he just falls off the angle. He doesn't need to overcommit to it, just going to be helping out, and he's going to be going for a mid to B play, gets the kill on AZ, and that's pretty much the round secured right there. And Freeman, he doesn't hunt for more towards middle, he just gets to his team, knows that if he plays the 5v3 properly with the rest of his squad, pretty much no way that they can lose this round, put themselves on map point, and now he's just going to be moving towards T-spawn, and Valde is just strafing out, doesn't even react. Freeman really recovers his spray there. Like, that was the third or fourth bullet, and his crosshair was pretty off, but he's still able to nail the shot. So once again, Freeman showing that he has some pretty impressive aim. I don't really know. There's not a lot of players that are going to be hitting the shots. Again, he just takes out Cadian, and this is really hurting this North economy a lot. They still have a single player towards B, but they should know kind of that the last CT is either towards long or a catwalk at this point. So Amen's going to be clearing that. Freeman, he has low HP, but he knows that finding this gun is more important than his life even at this point. So he's going to keep on hunting, and Amen was able to take out the final member. Now Vici, they're going to be going for a much different play here. They're going to be going for some long aggression early on, which they haven't really done all too much. Long hasn't been really a focal point for them, but I think they realize that North are on a force buy here, that they do have the superior weaponry in this situation, and so they put their star rifler right up in personal against the probably weaker guns of North. We can see that they do have 2 AUGs on Katie and Gade, but the rest of the players on pretty weak weaponry. So Freeman would be in a great position here to take some good fights. And so now the flashes come out towards long. It's just going to be a very clean clear from the Vici players. They're just going to be using their utility to slowly scale up, continue taking the long fights as they try to get closer and closer at long. Interesting counter smoke from North there. That Molotov comes out, which is probably going to bait Vici into thinking that there is in fact a player at car. It's very unlikely that North would throw that smoke grenade most of the time if there weren't some kind of car player. So it's actually going to burn a little bit more utility from the Vici side. And at this point, they should relatively be certain that it is probably going to be clear at this point. They threw a couple mollies. Now they're going to be going for their full long A exec. Double smokes for the cross. Flashes over. A Molotov out from Freeman. And they are just trying to scale at this point. There's a little bit of gap in the smokes. Freeman tries to play around that and just hits a pretty much instant headshot on Acadian and takes down AZ as well. I mean, he's just running to the bomb site. I don't even think his crosshair placement looked all that good, but he's able to find 3 kills right there. Freeman, very impressive stuff in this map 1. So 98 ADR according to the in-game. Only 6 enemies flash and not too much utility damage over here, but ends the game with a 1.5 KD overall. Or wait, I think that's just for the T side. I think this might have reset, actually. Because they're else... Actually, I'm not sure. 1.5? Wait, 16 plus 8. Yeah, that's... Okay, so that's probably for the T side. But still, really good stuff. And as you can see, this Hong Kong player making Dust 2 look like a Wong Kar-wai film. Pretty blurry, just kind of weird crosshair placement flying all over the place. I keep trying to make the Hong Kong references, but yeah, as you can see, I mean, Freeman, pretty solid. Like, actually pretty good. I don't think Vici should be taken too lightly, said it earlier, but really, that's a pro player analysis for you. Freeman, just really good rifler. Wouldn't put him like top 5 in the world or anything, but I mean, they have a case to be here. Vici, they showed up here against North. Freeman kind of just put an end to a lot of the North's players' lives, like, so quickly. And yeah, that's pretty much it for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed yet another pro player analysis. Be sure to leave any feedback in the comments below. If you guys have been waiting for a shortened video or one that's edited, gonna have one coming out for you guys shortly, but really appreciate how much support you guys have been showing me for these videos, and I really like putting them out for you guys. So if you guys like, be sure to follow on Twitter for all the content that I put out. You know, of course, subscribe on YouTube. Hit that like button below. And as always, being toxic is a choice.